Hello, everybody. Welcome to class today. We are going to be doing a balance class. So if you are not already sitting in a chair, go ahead and grab a chair, or maybe you're close enough to a wall. Just have something that you can use for some extra support while we balance if you'd like that. Also, if you happen to have a yoga block, you can grab that too if you're looking for some more challenging balance. So as always, I'm going to teach lots of options. Be sure to choose the one that works best for you today. I'm going to start seated in a chair, but you can definitely have a seat on the mat. We'll start with some centering and some grounding, getting us ready for this balance practice. So wherever you're seated, let's take a couple hot breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And maybe do it again, one or two more times, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And one more. Great. One of the great things about balance is that it really helps you become very present very quickly. It's really hard to balance when you're thinking about all these other things that you need to maybe get done today, or something that happened yesterday, or that you've got kind of coming up in the future. So practicing balance can really help you maybe shift gears into a more present moment. And it also helps you to be more aware of all the other things that are kind of going on in your mind. So we'll start with just some awareness practice. Again, if you're seated in a chair, maybe lean back against the back of the chair. If you're seated on the mat or even laying down on the mat, get nice and comfortable. If you feel like it would be nice to have some extra support under the legs or the head, wherever you are, add that support in as you choose. That's what's so great about a yoga practice, is it's all about how you're feeling in this moment. So settling in. Wonderful. And if you have something that you can connect to the ground, maybe if you're seated in a chair, the bottoms of the feet are connected to the ground. If you're seated on the mat, you are connected to the ground, but you can also place your fingertips maybe by the sides, just connecting down. If you're laying on the back, you can either turn your palms down to face the floor, or you can bend the knees so the soles of the feet are on the mat. So see if you can find a comfortable connection to the ground or the floor. And you might hear yoga teachers or other mindfulness teachers talk about grounding and how it's good to be to work towards more grounding. And if you're feeling maybe a bit scattered, grounding can really help. But what does grounding mean? So it can mean a few different things, but today we're going to start with just really noticing our connection to the ground or to the floor. You can close your eyes if you choose. And whatever part of you is connected to the floor, notice that space. Maybe notice the textures against the skin. So if you're wearing socks, maybe you feel the socks. If you're wearing shoes, maybe you feel those. If you have bare feet, maybe you notice the texture or temperature of the floor underneath you. So taking your awareness to that space. And just staying there for another few breaths. Maybe this is the point in time in practice that you choose to expand your breath a little bit more. Find those deeper, more relaxing breaths. Great. And then as you continue to feel that connection to the floor, to the ground, Imagine as if you could breathe into that space. So maybe if the soles of the feet are touching, you could almost imagine yourself breathing in through the soles of the feet, maybe through the fingertips, the palms of the hands, almost as if you could breathe in that grounding energy. So when we think of grounding, we think of stability, steadiness, trust, structure, home base. So maybe thinking of some qualities that resonate with you today about grounding and connection. What makes you feel stable and secure? And if you find a word or two that really connects with you today, maybe you breathe in that word. About 5 more breaths wherever you are. Wonderful. If the eyes are closed, slowly begin to blink the eyes open. Let's get a little movement in the body. Start to wiggle fingers and toes. Maybe you take the arms up, reach up and stretch. Get a nice big stretch. Spread those arms out wide. Good. Wake up that body. Let's give us a little shake. Shake hands, arms. Good. Maybe shake the legs or just kind of tap the heels to the mat. Just waking everything up. Fantastic. Okay, we're going to do a few seated movements, and then we'll come to stand and work on our balance. So if you're laying flat on the mat, go ahead and come to seated, and we'll all work together here. Let's start by rolling the shoulders up and back, just getting some movement in the upper body here. Maybe you're one of the many people that hold tension in the shoulder area. Just see if you can release maybe 10%. So we're not thinking about perfection here, just progress, just moving more towards balance. Good, one more. Great, inhale, hands can rise. Maybe you take them up, palms can come together into prayer in front of the heart. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach up, spread those arms out wide, take up all the space, hands back together. Good, let's do that 2 more times. Out and up. Good, palms to meet. And 1 more time. Out and up. And palms to meet. Nice. Take a moment here. Maybe remind yourself of that word that you may have come up with. That word that reminds you of security or connection, stability, whatever that is. And then take the palms down to the legs. Let's take the arms out again to the sides. This time you're going to give yourself a nice big hug, right arm on top. Give yourself a little squeeze. Maybe even move a bit side to side. Get some movement in that back space. Take those arms, spread them out wide again. Let's take the other arm on top. Left arm on top this time. Oh yeah, good. Work out those back muscles. Again, open up wide. Let's take right arm on top. Little movement if you choose. Arms out wide, left arm on top. Good. And release, shake it out. Hands again can come to the legs. Inhale, lift the chest a little higher. Maybe you feel the pelvis tilt a bit forward. Exhale, we're going to round it back. Good. So if you're on that chair, it might feel a little bit better to scoot a tad forward. Inhale, lift up through the chest. Exhale, around. Good. Inhale again, lift it up. And exhale, round. 1 more time. Inhale, lift. And exhale, round. Nice. Bring it back to center. Let's do a twist. So take the arms out to the sides, press those palms away if that feels okay, getting a stretch for the bottom of the wrist. Then turn the fingertips down, stretch to the top of the wrist. Good, reach those arms straight out. We're gonna twist to the right. So coming to the right side just until you start to feel some restriction. We're gonna go back to center and to the other side, so to the left. Good, back to center and to the right. Back to center and to the left. Great, back to center, to the right this time, and then we'll pause. So this left hand can come down wherever you want. That right hand might find the chair someplace. Inhale, feel the feet pressed down, or the sits bones pressed down if you're seated on the mat. Lift tall, tall, and twist. Good. Unwind. Let's take those arms out again. We'll go to the other side. Twist until you find that resistance. Then maybe that right hand comes down, left hand finds the chair, wherever it works. Lift tall. And twist. Great. Release. And bring it back to center. Okay, let's wake the feet up just a little bit. Feet are super important when we're dealing with balance. And especially if we wear padded shoes a lot, we can kind of lose that connection really to the feet touching the ground. So let's just wiggle the toes. Maybe squeeze the toes together and then see if you can spread them out really wide. Good. You can even play around, especially if you don't have socks or shoes on. You can try lifting up one toe at a time, which is harder than you might think. Good. Do that on one foot and then try on the other, kind of starting on the big toe and working your way down to the pinky toe. Good. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Bring the weight to the toes, lift those heels up. Get a stretch there for the front of the ankle. Great, then bring the heels down and see if you can maybe lift those toes up off the floor. Let's do it again. Toes down, heels up. And then heels down, toes up. Great. Feet to the mat. Let's come to stand. Find your way up to standing however you choose. Again, maybe this chair stays by you, or if you've got a wall nearby, that's great too. So let's just work a little bit on grounding. So grounding can also be done standing. We do it a lot in our mountain pose. So take the feet to a comfortable, stable base. So that doesn't mean that you have to have your feet really far apart or really close together. It's all about you and what feels stable. So I like it to have my feet just a little bit wider than hip distance and a tiny little bend in the knee. Finding that Tadasana nice and tall through the spine. Maybe turn the palms to face forward if that feels okay for the shoulders. Good. And as we were thinking earlier about breathing in up through the feet, maybe try that again. Feel like that grounding energy is coming up through the feet, bringing in stability, bringing in security, bringing in balance. Let's take one more breath here in our Tadasana mountain pose. And exhale, release. Good. Give it all a little shake. If you want to use that chair, maybe circle the ankle, bend the toes. Again, we're going to get some work in here for these stabilizer muscles in the legs. Okay, so let's start that rock that we did when we were seated. Toes to heels, okay? Toes to heels. Toes to heels. Toes to heels. Good. Let's do that a couple more times. Warming up those feet again. Waking up the calves, waking up those leg muscles. Good. One more time. Nice. Shake it out. Okay, so now we're going to try to hold for a little bit. So take the toes, the weight to the toes. Again, use that chair as much as you'd like. Use the wall, any kind of support. If you feel okay here and you want to try taking the hand or hands off the chair, maybe you take just a finger first. And just kind of find your way. Maybe hands come together in prayer. You can always keep those hands wide. That's definitely going to help with balance. Good, and then release down. Great, we're gonna try something a little bit different. So if you want to, you can choose to stay right here next to the chair, and we'll again come to those toes. If you wanna give it a little bit more of a challenge, or if you're feeling super steady today, go ahead and come to the back of your mat, and we're gonna come to those toes. So start to find that balance. Good. If you wanna do it against the wall just to kind of have it there, go for it. So we're gonna come to those toes, and we're gonna try to walk forward on the toes. So take tiny little steps, working our way to the front of the mat. And then if you like, try going backwards. So taking those tiny little steps back, trying to stay on those toes if you can. Always feel free to drop down, take a rest on those heels whenever you need to. Good, all the way back, good, heels to the mat. Let's do it one more time. So come to the toes, take those little walks forward. Really great way to work on those muscles around the ankles and lower legs. Maybe walk it back. You're doing great. Keep at it. Good. And heels down. Good. Give it a little bit of rest. Okay. Let's add some more movement, some more different shapes. We'll come into a tree pose. Really great way to work on balance. So many different options in tree pose. Feel free to use the chair or the wall for some extra support. Let's take that left leg and turn the knee out. So toes touch the mat. Maybe your heel is kind of kickstanding up against your ankle. Knee is turned out slightly. Press firmly into that right leg. Press down. Good. Lift up through the spine. This is a great place to start. Wonderful. If this feels okay, maybe you try taking a hand off the chair or fingers off the chair. Don't forget to breathe, especially as we do some new things. The breath can stop sometimes, so just remind yourself. Great. If you feel really stable, maybe you take that foot towards the calf. Keep pressing down into that right foot. Let's stay here for 2 more breaths. Fantastic. All right, release. Give it all a little shake. Let's do a forward fold here. You can always use a chair here if you want to bend forward. If it's okay, inhale, hands can rise. Exhale, as you fold, hands come to the thighs, bend those knees. Gentle little bend, slowly bring those hands down somewhere on the legs. You can always keep palms on the thighs for support. Then bend the knees, press into the heels, rise up to stand. Reach those arms out and up. Exhale, hands in prayer. Great. Let's do the other side. So coming on to your left foot, right toes turn out. Good. If it's easier for you, feel free to just take that opposite hand to the chair. I'm just going to do it this way so we can still see each other. So maybe we start out with that right foot on the mat, right ankle, kickstanding, right heel, kickstanding by that left ankle. Press into that left foot. Feel that long, strong left side. Maybe we take a finger to the chair or the wall. Maybe we take the hands off the chair. Great. Again, you can take that right foot to the left calf. You can even try to bring those arms up. Don't forget to breathe. We've got about 3 more breaths here. Exhale, slowly release. Awesome. So now we're going to do a wide-legged forward fold. So take those legs wide. Again, if you're using your chair, just bring the feet wide and fold it forward. Hands come to the hips, lift tall with the top of the head. Exhale, slowly tilt. Make sure to bend those knees a bit as you go down. Hands can stay at the thighs, or you can choose to slide those hands down farther towards the shins. If you've got that block nearby, you can always use it underneath the hands here. Very good. Let's stay for 3 more breaths. Wonderful. Knees again a little bend, hands to the thighs, press into the heels, rise up nice and strong. Great. We're going to try one more round with our tree pose. So here are the different options. I'm just going to show them to you and then we'll all stay for the same breath. So option 1 will be right where we started. Heel to the ankle, maybe up, maybe hands come up. If you're feeling super balanced, you can take your block or a book or anything like that, something that's somewhat firm, and you're gonna stand on it with that right foot. So that's gonna change things for sure. It's gonna change the balance, it's gonna change the height, it's gonna change your awareness. Still feel free to use that chair or wall, and we'll do the same thing. Tree pose, any variation, legs or arms, okay? So let's get started. If you wanna try the block, go ahead and grab it, or that book, whatever it is you're using to stand on. We're gonna take our right foot to the block. So let's take a step up onto that block if you're choosing to use it. Take a moment to kind of acclimate yourself here. Left toes can always stay on the mat. And then when you feel ready, find your tree pose. Find that shape for you. Maybe it's here, maybe it's here, maybe it's here, maybe it's here, maybe it's somewhere in between. Wherever it is for you today, remember to breathe. Maybe even remind yourself of that grounding word. Whatever makes you think of security, stability, connection. We got 2 more breaths. And then release. Awesome, let's give it a try on the other side. So our sides are different from each other. Maybe you choose to do the same option, or maybe something else would work better for you. So if you're gonna use a block, go ahead and step on it with a left foot. Give yourself a moment to acclimate, kind of feel how it feels to be underneath the foot. Notice if you need to scoot around a little bit or find that more stable base. And then find your way to your tree pose. Again, might be different here. Our balance changes on either side. So this side might be the easier side or the more challenging. Wherever you choose to be, find that breath. Good. 3 more breaths to go. Fantastic. Slowly release. Give those legs a nice little shake. Scoot that block out. And find your way back to your chair or your mat. You can even come all the way down onto the mat if you prefer to lay down. Find your connection again to the ground. So maybe soles of the feet, maybe fingertips or palms. As you take some breaths here, just kind of feel the relaxation move through the body, softening around eyes and mouth, neck, shoulders. And bringing your awareness back again to that word of security, of stability. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Feel free to stay here as long as you'd like.